Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Voxel, and this is just a demo of a game I've been spending the last couple of days on. It's not much right now, but yeah, I've been putting a lot of work into the graphics on here and just making everything look really nice. And I thought it was really cool, and I thought that someone would like it if I shared it. So this is a BGE, which is, of course, using the Uchronia Project Blender Game Engine 0.3, which allows you to use Eevee and Cycles renders for your games. And Eevee just looks fantastic. It's about on par, I'd say, with Unreal Engine, minus some more advanced niche 3D effects, and of course, performance is a little bit down from that game engine. But as you can see here, reflections are something that Eevee handles very well. It's got very good animation support. I'm just shooting stuff right now. These guys are just little enemies that I programmed in a couple of hours, and of course, Model 2, they're pretty simple, just like a beveled cube with little guns on it and a little angry face. But yeah, they just kind of track you around and shoot at you. And right now, they're nothing fancy. They basically just shoot at you, and they try to push you off the map with their bullets. And I still haven't had time to program in health for myself. And, these characters, I of course want you to have a health limit too, so, like, they damage you and stuff like that. But, of course, I made all of this in about 2 days, working on it off and on. I actually just had surgery yesterday, so didn't do a lot of work on it yesterday, except for some minor bug fixes, because there were just some issues with exporting it as a game runtime that I had to troubleshoot. Took me maybe an hour, but yeah, everything is running buttery smooth here, as you can tell. And if you're wondering what my specs are, this is being played at 1080p on a AMD Radeon RX 5700 XT. That's the 8GB RAM model, I believe, or 6. I can't remember which one it is, but it's a pretty nice mid-range graphics card. It can play most modern games between 1080p Ultra and 4K Ultra, just depending on how new it is and what kind of engine it uses. Now, admittedly, Eevee does have some major performance issues that I have mostly managed to overcome. This game will run at 60 FPS on my MacBook Air, and that is with a Apple M1 CPU and GPU in there. It's not the M1 Pro or the M1 Max. It's actually just the bog standard Mac 1. As you as you can see, I'm just flying around the map. I do plan on updating the physics a lot in the future, and just adding more detail and, of course, more levels, more obstacles. But that was just me showing kind of how the exported game works. It works really well. You just basically have to include your texture library, and everything works out. Now I'm just going to jump in here, and I'm going to show you a little bit of behind the scenes. So this is my intro scene. It plays when you start the game, and now, as you can see, just the lighting in general is just really, really good in BGE. I mean, I have PBR materials and these nice textures, and it just looks absolutely incredible. So yeah, I'm just kind of walking around the scene. Let me go ahead and enable gravity just so I can kind of walk around. But yeah, it looks extremely realistic. It looks great. I love how Eevee handles reflections and lighting. It all looks very nice and photorealistic. And these are just some textures that I found on zerocctextures.com. And yeah, fantastic place, by the way, if you just need a couple of textures for your games. But yeah, it handles this very well, and I'm glad to see it. All right. So I'm just going to show you something really quick. So let me set this to the frame range of my animation. So as you can see, I have these different camera angles when the game first boots up, and it just really shows off this model with some nice lighting and kind of gives you a good feel of what kind of graphics I'm able to pull off with this engine. This is a gun that I modeled myself on an airplane, actually, and it looks pretty cool in my own biased opinion. It's kind of like a laser gun or something. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and select another camera, because before I made these shots, I had some different shots. Now, I did make them before I added these lights, so they are a little bit finicky, but yeah, you can see here, it just looks really nice. I'm a really big fan of how Eevee does its shading. And here's a different camera angle, and as you can see, I've got some depth of field, and the depth of field post-processing effect looks really good in UPBGE 2. This is just of course the viewport playback, but it would look like this in UPBGE. That's a really nice thing about UPBGE, is that pretty much whatever it looks like in Blender, it's going to look like in your final game. So you just get a really accurate preview of everything, and it's really easy to prototype quickly. I mean, I don't think I could have made this much progress on a game in any other engine. I mean, I made these little lamp models, and I could just easily move them around, and I'm just good to go. Just copy some objects over here from my other scene, and looks amazing. I can just have this high poly version of my gun in this intro, and it works. I don't have to worry about it so much. And anyways, as you can see, viewport play, I can just play it and it will open up that other scene, which is nice. And yeah, I'm able to play it. It's great. You can just test really quickly, and that's kind of the beauty of UPBGE, really, is you can prototype, you can just press P, and you can test your game code and your models and everything immediately. Instantly see your performance improvements. Here's a close-up kind of third-person view of my reload animation, which looks kind of funny. And here's my game character code. So I didn't actually have to write any code for this. I just added these blocks, and it's pretty much as simple as that. If you want to make a game in UPBGE, you don't really need any coding experience for the most part, unless you want to do something a little more advanced. But there's tons of tutorials, and of course you can always kind of retrofit like an old BGE tutorial to fit with the newer versions. And there are a lot of BGE tutorials, good resource I would recommend is that Timster with a 3 instead of an E. He makes a lot of BGE tutorials, and then you also have, I think it's CG Cookie, but I might be wrong. But yeah, there's a lot of resources that people might not be aware of that you can use for Blender Game Engine and Uchronia project Blender Game Engine. So yeah, I'm just kind of looking around my scene, and just to show you, these models are fairly detailed. Not too many vertices, but I was able to get some really nice beveling into these models, and I'm going to show you just how this works. So I can just scale this up, and these spawn the enemy instances when the game starts. Just going to move one of these cubes, and that'll just show you kind of how you can instantly make a little change and then preview it, make this cube ginormous, and it'll just be kind of funny looking. But yeah, it's basically any change that you make in Blender. You don't have to build your scene. You don't have to compile lighting. You don't have to do any of that unless maybe you're using some light probes, but I'm not. All of this is just real-time shading. Yeah, I'm just going to hit P, and just like that, my changes show up, and I can see my game code running instantly. I can shoot these cubes, and all the physics are working. And it's really, really simple to make a game in this engine. Of course, the level of polish that you get definitely does require some good knowledge of just Blender, sort of principles. And as you can see when I enable these physics, visual physics preview, whatever, it kind of lags. Not sure if that's a bug or if that's just my unoptimized physics, but yeah, as you can see, just previewing again. Yeah, your level of quality and polish definitely will come down to how well you're able to use your tools in Blender to make your game. But with very little learning required, you can make your own game just like me.